I wanted to ask if both of you consider yourselves, or either of you consider yourselves pro-choice, and what that means to you, and specifically in this this legislation that just ended recently, there was a chance to pass legislation to make those words actually mean something, which would be accessible and affordable access to reproductive health care. And I'm aware that Representative Barros held that's for further study, and there was also a letter asking for that to be voted on once it was clear that Roe was overturned. And 22 senators signed that letter, or 22 legislators signed that letter, and I believe you were not one of them. So I'm wondering if you wish you had signed the letter, and if not, if you do agree with that sentiment, and if you would, support fighting for that in the next term, or why you didn't fight for it in this term.
So I'm not sure I understand your question totally, but I think I'll answer it in this way. I was one of the 3 or 4 sponsors that voted or sponsored the bill to codify Roe v. Wade.
I'm asking about the
Let me finish.
The one that's affordable.
I know Liana Casada had a bill. She and I had the conversation about the bill. I would sign the bill. The committee that it went, I don't know exactly which committee it actually went to.
It was finance.
And
you held it for further study. The finance held it.
You voted to hold it for
you held
further
it.
So yeah, I mean, so I voted for further studies. Yes. So then it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's why it didn't go anywhere, because you voted to hold it for further study.
So let me get this correctly. So yes, I did vote for it. I'm Liana and I are very close friends, and certainly I understood that there were issues with the bill, that there were some compromise that needed to be made, and those compromises were not made, and so we held it for further study. But to be disingenuous and say that, I don't support women's rights, it's very disingenuous, because I'm the number 4 of the sponsors who primarily sponsored the bill to codify it. And next, if I'm fortunate enough to get in there, certainly would work hard to actually get the bill that Leanna put in, so that state workers and everybody else can actually have safe and affordable access to health care.
So if I can also respond to that, I guess I don't really understand the need for compromise when it came to whether or not to expand coverage for state workers' health insurance to include abortion coverage, or for Medicaid recipients to be able to use those funds to actually access an abortion. I don't understand what the issue is there for compromise. What further needs to be worked out with that? There were several members, as mentioned, I think 21, 22 of them, who wanted a return to session in order to pass that important legislation. Interestingly, they didn't feel that there was somehow more negotiation or more compromise that needed to be worked out. And if I was elected, I would be a strong advocate for making this codified right to an abortion something actually real in people's lives.
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that the codification was not a value, has no value.
No, I didn't say that at all.
So,
the codification is great, but the codification is abstract unless people can actually find a way or have a way to pay and access those services.
And those services actually will be available. Like I said, I think the issue was there were some glitches in the bill that was held for further study, but
What was the study? What study has happened since then?
Well, again, obviously, I don't know what study has happened. We just essentially just finished, so it won't be for further study until next session.
All right, Seth is on fire there. So
Yes.
this is
I really no. I have a really important
and then
question.
you share your closing remarks
All right,
after you
so
answer Seth's question.
My question is just a plain old yes or no, okay? look, I'm either gonna roll with you or run against you, Mr. Barros or Miss Stewart. 'Cause, look, I might run against you one day.
Yeah, that's okay.
My question
That's
is this.
my
My question is this. How do you feel? Do you feel that the overturning of Roe versus Wade is unconstitutional to women? Yes or no?
I mean, I'm not a constitutional lawyer, so I really couldn't say, but I feel for me, it would probably, yeah, I mean, it should be unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional because this is America and we have the right of choice, right?
Absolutely,
Well, that's not the right of choice, though.
No, again, I mean, that's the Supreme Court. I mean, that's nothing to do with us. I mean, that's why we
You have
took.
ambitions. You have ambitions. I would like to know. I told you I'm gonna roll against
So no,
you.
let me
or
finish.
with
Let me
you.
answer the question. So that's why we knew this, that there's something like this was going to come. I mean, that eventually, the Supreme Court, if it was stacked properly, that something like this could happen. So we took the steps to codify it here for Rhode Island. So yes, I mean, maybe, like I said, but I'm not a constitutional scholar, so I really couldn't answer the constitutionality of that. But certainly for me, it would be yes.
This is ridiculous.
So in the U.S., the Supreme Court is supposed to operate, make decisions respecting strong precedent. There had been a strong precedent established for Roe, which was disregarded in an activist way by the Supreme Court. That's the reality of the situation at the national level. But at the level of the states, our system gives a lot of power to the states to decide what is it going to do on the abortion issue. That's the situation that we're dealing with now. And codification is important. Codification is a good first step, but it's about what power do we have and are we willing to use it to make what's been codified real in people's lives.
So that didn't answer my question. I'm sorry, because my question was, do you believe? I asked a
Is
yes
it
or no.
unconstitutional?
Do you believe it's unconstitutional? Thank you.
Okay, all right, so let's